I'm so tempted to make jokes about Canadian bacon for our northern neighbors, but it's such an old joke. Clean the earwax out of your ears. Where did Romanian lettuce come from?
Not Romania.
Welcome to the show. I am Geoffrey Hill, your host. Today we have a unique opportunity to talk to somebody who doesn't know her blood parents because she was adopted a long time ago, and then she moved to Canada.
They do speak French out in Quebec, Montreal, even Ontario, areas of Newfoundland even, yeah. I do not speak French. Français. I don't know how to speak French now.
Oui.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know anything more than we.
Do you learn other languages? Being in the U.S. schools, we're usually kind of pushed to do another language when we are going through grade school.
Well, when I was in high school, I learned to speak German. I could say, wie geht es Ihnen? Es mir gut leid. And ich möchte Erdbeeren mit Schlagsahne. Wie viel Uhr ist es? But that's the only thing I can remember except for the other stuff I remember. So what I said was, hi, how are you?
Are you looking for ways to make more money? Are you good at sales? Do you have the drive and the ambition that it takes to get the job done? Well, then come join our team here at TVPBN. We offer great incentives. Work your own hours from wherever you want. Small town, big city, my favorite, the quiet island beach. It all works. Go to tvpbn.com today. Click on the link to become an affiliate. My name is Chris Mayberry, and I'm excited to be working with you.
Here I am, standing next to my desk, right behind my desk. My ears are bugging me today. I should clean out the earwax. My mom always said, clean the earwax out of your ears. Probably something a Romanian mom would say to her daughter. Clean the earwax out of your ears. Folks, my guest today is Jill Maria. She's going to be right here on the 85. Let's say hi to Jill Maria. Hello there, Jill Maria.
Hi,
Welcome to America. Virtually, of course. Hey, before we get started, because I have the most important question of the day. There is nothing more important than this. Being that you are from Romania, I want to know, where did Romanian lettuce come from?
Not Romania.
You've got to be kidding. I'm so disappointed. I've been eating that stuff my whole life.
I never heard that.
And here I thought Romanian lettuce was from Romania.
Nope, I don't think so.
Dang. So do you still remember the language?
Am vorbesc puțin. I'm learning Romanian. I speak a little bit because I went to Romania not too long ago last year to meet my family, like you had said. And yeah, it's necessary to learn the language to speak to them.
It does help if you want to communicate in a natural manner. Although one of these days you're going to be able to put like these glasses on and then like speakers on your ears with antennas, and you'll be able to hold your phone right there and choose language, scroll down, choose language, and it'll just translate for you in real time.
I wish I had that now. Yeah, learning is fun. I'm glad it's taking me back to my real globally right now.
So what do they do with an orphan child nowadays then? Like just grow up in an orphanage and...
Nowadays, back in the day, right, it was a whole thing when the adoption actually opened up, because now it's closed, right? But a lot of lawyers were in on it. There was a lot of money to be made for children to be adopted. A lot of Canadian and US people would pay a big fee in order to adopt the child through the lawyer. Thousands of dollars, thousands. And then they would be, then come to Canada legally and all of that. But there were some people like my family that just went there and hitting the streets to find kids because they didn't want to do it that way with having to pay for their kid, in that way. But it was really the only way most people knew about it. So,
So
they
you're
wanted to
telling me
help.
that your parents walked down the street and simply said,
Yeah.
"This is the girl that we want right there," completely
didn't quite happen.
bypassing any kind of agency and simply
Yeah,
filing papers.
I don't know why they did it that way. A lot of the people that I was friends with that have been adopted, a girl named Jessica Alina out of Vancouver and another gal named Sevden McDonald's, their parents did it that way, where they had a bit more support and the groups after they got adopted and everything. But no, they did it different for some reason, and I'm glad they did. They probably wouldn't have found me because I'm a background of gypsy. So in Romania, they didn't want to adopt these kind of kids first. They wanted, the Caucasian Romanians. And that's okay, whatever. I don't even, whatever. But the impoverished families, a lot of them had no support from the government, especially when they're gypsy. So they don't have so much help. And they have many, many children. So it was just, there's a lot of corruptness of trying to sell the children, to make money when this all opened up. But with my family, Garafita Mateash, she, had, been told around the town, or talked about a lot around the town with me being sick. I was very ill. So when he had somehow from a translator found out about me, and then went to the town to meet my mother and ask, can I take her back to Canada? And she didn't want to give adoption. It's not her idea. I was the 11th child at the time. But he said, I'll take good care of her. I want to take her. I like her. And, my wife and I want to find somebody. And I found all this out actually by my mother sharing this with me about what happened. Because I didn't even know. It's not a topic that we talk about too much in my Canadian family. It was very traumatizing for my father, actually. So we don't talk about it in my family that much, but it's become a topic since I found them. Yeah, they're very happy for me, and it just kind of happened through the grace of God, really.
So going back to the whole topic of Romanian gypsies, about 25 years ago, I was a disc jockey in the San Francisco Bay Area, and I would get phone calls from people who would say, "Hi, we're Romanian gypsies and we're having a wedding." And I thought, the first thing I thought was, gypsies are real? I thought that was something you see just in movies. Gypsies are real. And then then I got thinking, well, then they're going to ride around in covered wagons, and they're going to play a lot of instruments and be like party people in the carnival. I thought, is this real? I found out that in America they don't ride around in wagons and play accordions in the carnival. But I found it very interesting, and it coincides with what you said about purchasing people. When I would do the wedding as the DJ, and on one side of the room would be one family, and on the other side of the room would be other family. Then they would meet in the middle, and they would negotiate the price of the bride. And I thought, they're literally selling the bride.
It's old school. You have to... not always, if you're Orthodox, it's more common. My culture, it's a whole culture, you guys. It's not really talked about, European culture and Romanian especially. I'm trying to be somebody that is an example of a proud and somebody that accomplished something being from that culture, it's within me to be wanting to move around and be fun and be an artist, So, but their lifestyle there, hon, is not very good. It's very hard to make money. Their dreams are not the way we get to live of what we want to be.
So are you saying, so then the Romanian gypsy is a subculture of the main?
Yeah, it's different than Romanian. Romanians are always insulted to be called gypsy if they're not. And really what gypsy means is they big families. Like gypsy is not an actual like we're black or something. It's not about race with like how you look. It's about your culture. So it's more like they tend to be not as well off, but the whole country itself, it's not the same. Europe is very different. They're surviving there, and I'm very fortunate when I went there to realize how lucky I was actually to be adopted and to not be
From what I've heard,
living.
I would agree with you. Quite fortunate.
Yeah, but mentally, right? We're all going through this during COVID and what we're thinking about, and all this kind of came up because of a lot of this stuff being at home a lot and everything, and missing them and wondering who and how I can meet them. And I had a very small group of Romanian friends that I did
Hmm.
a film with in about 2-3 years ago. And Daniela Apostoli is a Romanian lawyer and a lady that just really has a heart for doing documentaries about her Romanian people. She's not gypsy, but she does support the Roma community, is what we're called actually. And through her and Sevden McDonald and the grace of God and my parents giving me my parents' names eventually, I found them off Facebook.
What
My
were you doing?
girlfriend
Just like
Sevden.
sitting with a? Were you just sitting there one day, or you typed in a name
I was
and there they
sitting there
were,
one
or?
day. I had tried before in life to try to find them and change my name on Facebook to Jill Maria Mateos, which is my real name, or back then. And they had been trying to find me. Like when I went there, right? There was like a whole town of people to come greet me as I was arriving, and a
Really?
huge family. Just like Chris, the producer, I have a huge family, like over 12 siblings, and then a lot of other extended relatives from that. And it really changed me, you guys. It made me want to help my culture more, seeing like the truth. When you say in your mind, right? Like even being in your lifestyle, my lifestyle, once you're actually there, you kind of have a heart for understanding how they live and why and how. And when I go back, I am going to be shooting my own documentary about meeting them and put it on Amazon or something, or festivals, and really elaborate. So I'm so glad you're interviewing me about this. This is my next step in life to support my family with my art.
It is quite fascinating. So when you show up in town, there's a couple hundred people there that you've never seen before,
I
and
felt like
and
a celebrity there.
undoubtedly
Everyone knew my
so. They know everything
the whole
about
family.
you, but you know nothing
Yeah.
about them. You find out you
I
have
had
73 cousins and 22 aunts and uncles that you didn't even know.
I always felt like missing that, right? Because I have a small family in Canada, and just like always feeling like I want to be who I am authentically and know what's up and why I am the way I am. And really, I found that when I found them. My birth father is not no longer, but my mother, I look just like her and just behave just the same. It's it's a real journey. I think everybody, no matter if they're adopted or not, should really dive deep into the history of their family and where they truly came from, even if it's Europe or or Canada even, or the
I
States. And it's,
completely agree. Let's hold
oh,
that thought for a moment. Take a real quick break. I need a breath mint. They made a little pocket thing about that called TikTok. So roll it.
My name is George, and I'm here to talk about.
Oh, some of these TikToks are just so stupid. So,
Yeah, I
when
don't
you
even
first
use that
met your mother, when you first met your birth mother,
Yep. Garafita.
what did that feel? Describe that feeling to me.
Oh, you guys, it felt like a movie. It really does. And I feel like I'd love to share that as a movie for people down the road. It was so emotional, even
It's
talking
hard to
about it.
describe that, huh?
So in Romania, right, it's kind of like you're in the farm kind of life, I guess. And so you're going down the dirt road, and my family all lives together on one street, sort of, in Buzău, Romania. So they had all come together on the street, about 200 of them at least that day, and they all were standing there. And I got out of the car from my family picking me up from the airport, my brother Fernando and Anda and Virel, some other relatives. And I get out of the car, and I had to truly change in that moment my behavior, my attitude, because it was so, I had this many people waiting for me that always had heard of my story, that I'm gone, and they had no idea I'm even there. And it was a thing. A lot of people are finding their family recently because of Facebook, I think. Another relative of mine, Sabita, my brother's first wife, had met her relative recently, Nicole, and she's in Utah or something. And she, had said, like, oh, my sister had said, oh, she found hers, I want to find mine, please come to Romania. Like, when I'd find them off Facebook, I typed in their name one day because my friend said, Jill, my family is on Facebook, I found them. And I said, really? I said, I was always told, like, they're very poor, and, like, who knows where they are, and you're not going to find them, and I typed it in, found all of them. A relative named Costel and Ionota Claudia, they're married, and my cousins, and they knew English, and they're in England. So we connected. So then when my mother first, like, actually saw me on video, she was like, oh, like, couldn't believe it, and I'm crying. And
And she
I just say,
recognizes you because she looks like you.
the same. We look all my flaws are exactly the same as her. And it was very emotional, crying, but she doesn't know how to speak. So I've been having to learn how to speak the language through other people, learning myself. When I went there, like, clothes, I slept with her in the bed. Like, I just love her so much, She didn't want to give me away, but I was sick, and it wasn't really like she trying to get me to adoption for money. It was because I was sick, hoping I would come back and find her one day. It was just a separation that we didn't want, but it was survival, honestly. And I feel like I'm doing that in Canada, just surviving until I can see them again, So anyway, I come out of the car, and there's 200 people flooding to meet me like I'm a celebrity. It felt like that. It was really fun, actually. But I cut off my emotions because I wanted to just cry and a bawl and be like, all the pain of not having them, and wishing that I had a big family. Everything that I had thought about myself, bad, good, all flush. And I say, guys, like, I have to put my actor face on. And I just, hugged every single person, hugging, hi, my babies holding me. Everyone, oh, they pooped, they best, oh my God. Just cannot believe the way I look. Oh, she looked just like Arafita. Oh my God, I can't believe. It was the craziest, because they're Romanians. They're Europeans, they're loud. They're everyone talking at the same time, forcing food down, making me change my clothes right there because they didn't like what I was wearing. They're just trying to change to be right with them, like, the next day, like, just hop in. Okay, guys, well, let's wake up. What are we doing today? Okay, we're doing this. There's a big party today. So we had a huge party when I met them, and I just individually, I got to meet every single one of them. You know,
it
just
was
lots
shocking to see you actually have brothers. And
to look like them. You know, they're all very good-looking people. I thought to myself, one of them looks like Gerard Butler. One of them looks like Adrian Brody. My family is so beautiful. You know, you'll see here. Lots of them just like look exactly like me. You know.
they look like models.
Yeah, this is me in the middle, and they're all the same. They're so beautiful. You know, it's unbelievable. So it's
Wow.
changed me as a person. It really has.
Sounds like a Disney movie right there.
It sounds like one, you know. My grandpa, he just died. My Benuccio. I'm
What
trying
kind
to
of
support
house
them.
do they live in? I mean, I'm thinking from what I see in movies, when you think about how your family in Romania lives, do they live?
Okay, and
What style of a house do they live in?
Well, some of them, you know, they're not doing well. Like some of them, yeah. Some of them kind of live in like huts. Some of them live in a big mansion. My brother is like known as the king in our family. He works very hard in construction, and him and his wife have built a great life for themselves. And my one brother, Razvan, is extremely like known in our circle. Like he is known as the king in our group of people
That sounds really ominous, actually.
community. It does. He looks very Arabic, and he's very strong, and he helps the whole family, you know, takes care of them like financially for a long time in his life. And without him, they're not going to be well, you know, half the time.
So now that you've created this connection with them, I know that over in Southeast Asia, if the family in Southeast Asia discovers they have relations in the United States or in Canada, they frequently say, "Hey, can you sponsor me? I want to go live in Canada." Do you have plans for this?
You know, they're living their life there. They're not going to like change their life now just because they met me, because their lifestyle, I don't think would work in Canada. To be honest with you, you know, this is my nephew. He's a champion kickboxer, and this is my brother Razvan. And they beautiful people. You know, they like, I'm proud of them, but they don't have the same opportunities that we have. You know, not the same. So I feel like, you know, people should know, like, my story of what I like to talk about is like, I love to be an artist. I love to act. I've been a part of a lot of projects myself, but you know, I think the story of creating my own projects eventually and going back to Romania to do something to help with them, with the Roma community. Sevdan and Daniela and I are really trying to connect with somebody out here in Calgary, Alberta, that does that. It's a charity, and I'm trying to do something to help back, you know, like I don't have that much myself being in Canada alone or whatever.
It really
but
sounds like a viable film project where you could get a couple $100 million to produce this. It's certainly not going to be a cheap one if you're going to have to recreate the old world, any kind of sets like that. But it sounds very viable. It's a true to life story.
You know, they did well in their life. You know, maybe not so many people, and where they came from, they don't have you know, very much money. But my family's doing well, you know, more so. I've had people like really jealous, like, wow, you met them. It's like you're a princess in there. Like your whole life changed like when you met them. And they sure did. My whole community of people in Canada, they've been following, and they can't believe it, you know, because most people don't find this kind of life. They don't live this life, being that person that was adopted and always confused about who they are, and that internal, even when I didn't say it. So my happiness has changed, but now I have so much I want to do to help them because the family is so big. Yeah.
It's a tremendous story. You took this story, you took your life here in Canada, and you did something different that I'm sure they weren't thinking that you would do, and that was to create a magazine.
The magazine is a whole other life, I'll tell you that. This man right here, I always like to talk about other people more than myself, to be honest. But this man right here, There's Paul Fry, Neil Enoch, Al Stickle, Mike Skorpak, TJ Anderson. There were a good group of people in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, who are, independent actors and artists. And we've been on some big TV shows, all of us as actors. And, with all that, that's a whole other story to try to build a community and help people. So I made my
let's
magazine.
talk about that story really
Sure.
quick
Awesome.
after another quick break. Rolling. Here on the show with me, Geoffrey Hill, we are always looking for new people to come on the show as a guest and share their stories. I love to talk to actors, singers, producers, filmmakers, authors, and tons of other people. If you or somebody you know would be a great guest for my show or any other shows on the network, just go to tvpbn.com/the show prep and fill out the application today. I look forward to seeing you. It's been a very interesting conversation with you so far. Having this background of being adopted literally right off of the street, outside of the agencies, and through just, people making friends with other people. But now you've been in Canada for mostly your life, and you created a magazine. What's the name of the magazine?
Okay, so the magazine is called I'm Here With, because every reporter you ever talk to says, I'm here with Chris Mayberry. They always say it like that. So I just kind of tagged that because I thought it was cute. And instead of having to always repeat it, I thought, let's do something different.
I wonder if I said that. I'm here with Jill Maria Mateos Robinson.
Nice. You got it.
There we go. Who is holding your phone up on the screen. So in this magazine, what do you do?
So this is the magazine that it looks, you can see kind of out the screenshot. So what I do is what you guys do. I tell people stories. I connect with them. I spend my days trying to find good stories and people to connect with organically, or I know them or I've worked with them. I work with a big company called CBC. That's a TV station that's really the biggest company to produce television other than the CW out of Canada too. So CBC is the longest and the best, and I love CBC so much. And I work with them and their PR team. So I support all the national huge stars. But my niche is supporting people who are new and need that push, just like you guys. It's a business. It costs money, just like you guys. But I put the network and the heart of the connections that I have with people, and then I set up photo shoots, and we, create beautiful content, and I, put it out nationally in stores. It's called Chapters, very similar to Barnes and Nobles of what you guys have.
So this is an actual print magazine, because you're showing it to me on your phone, but it's in print paper form.
Yeah. It's a print paper form that is distributed professionally across Canada's stores, yeah.
Well, that's fantastic.
Well, that man, Alan Stickle that I had told you about, I had seen so much potential in him. There's dogs barking in the back. Potential in him from doing a show called Go Fish that was on Amazon and was kind of the first indie project of our little group that had got onto TV in our little circle at the time in 2015. And I was a publicist for them just because I talk a lot and wanting to connect because of who I am. And I said, guys, we need to become out there. We need to let people know. So I started kind of heading the PR of it. And then I said, we need something big, to really become stars, guys. And I had come up with the idea of doing a magazine because I know so many people just from going to events, being invited. We were socialites before we were artists, I guess, in Calgary, Alberta. And it's still a small community, you know, like I don't consider myself as famous at all, but I'm globally known in many medias because of my story, you know, a lot.
How did
And
you get distribution in paper form in a world where so many people are dropping paper and moving to a digital format?
you know, it's the only value that, you know, I'm a young woman still, you know, I'm in my early 30s still. And I get a lot of slack, you guys. Most people that have a magazine and a show have like a team. And for myself, sure, I have a team. I hire people here and there. Catherine Calnan, Experimental Experience. You know, photographers and visual artists are usually the people I am best friends with and connect with a lot to create content together organically. But the value of print is really the value of what my business is for some reason, because it's something different and it's new. So when people are not stars, you know, you got to do it big to make them stars. So, you know, we have online, of course, Facebook, all of that stuff. But yeah, we went to print and I hired a marketing group. You know, I didn't know what I was doing. But my friend Alan Stickle, who's an older gentleman, guided me to these people to help. And I've just kept running with it with designing. I've had people help me. Pink Spots, Leah really designed again after the first issue, and I use the same kind of look always now. So I'm doing it myself a lot these days because of COVID, right? But the new year, I'm hoping things open up and I want to expand. We put out like a billboard in our community to let people know it's out. You know, I try my best to really build the network and the connections and more media people to support after I put it out. So I started working with a lady named Christine Blanchette, and her and I have started a new show, and she has a national real talk show as well that goes to television in our...
Oh, I'm echoing now. Is that who's in the clip that you sent us? Because I have a clip that we can play.
Yes, that was a fun behind-the-scenes clip with Catherine Calnan, and I just was out in Calgary, and we shot the Dreamers series for the Calgary artists that I wanted to include about for the next issue that's coming out for September.
Very interesting. So
Yes.
I don't recall the names you just said. There was somebody in the clip that we will recognize?
Yes, that's Catherine Calnan, and she's the photographer of the next issue. And the lady, Christine Blanchette, who I was mentioning, her and I are working on a new show to support the magazine's network to put, you know, it's virtual, but in person when things open up. So I'm working on that as well. So everything I do is connected, from how I feel about who I am, to the people around me, to putting out my art, to being a part of other projects. I really put it all together when I meet somebody, and usually we collaborate and I tell their story.
Well, let's take a look at the clip really quick.
Ooh, I like this. The peace sign is our thing. We all have to three get in a photo and we'll post that.
But you know what's so funny? I'll wait for you to record. The peace sign actually, in reality, means separation. It should be together.
Oh.
This is together. This is separation, but they made it into peace. It was kind of hijacked.
It looks cool though, right?
Oh my god, I love. Do you have a filter on me? Like, what's happening?
No,
Oh, I just did my makeup.
there is no filter. I was gonna say, how gorgeous. Like your
so gorgeous.
has changed in the last few years, where you're just like putting yourself out there more. And I can see that your energy is exuding with working with you.
Maybe I'm just glowing today.
But with working with you, every single person that I talk to is like, Catherine, oh, she's like, you are like a perfect soul, and somebody would want to work with me.
Are you feeling good?
Honestly, I'm so genuine. Lucky to work with this star photographer. Oh, baby. So good. Well, are we gonna make
It looks like you've developed a really, really nice friendship with her. I thought it was interesting when she said the peace sign means separation, whereas it used to mean victory, depending on what country you're in.
I agree. We should keep it going like this. Maybe it looks a little Hitlery, though. I don't know. Maybe
Yeah.
we should just keep it, just keep it that way.
Yeah, it's an interesting sign. You go to Asia and they have to say peace in every photo, V for victory. So now that you got the magazine going, you're going to do a film on your family history, which sounds fascinating. Anything else after this?
Well, I just got accepted into acting school in the USA, called the American Academy of Dramatic Art. So it's one of the biggest artistic and film schools in the world. So I just applied, recently online because I want to become better at what I'm doing in all fields. And I want to learn how to make my own projects and be a better actor. So yeah, I am really excited to start that course very soon.
And the next time we see you, you're going to be fluent in American. Woohoo!
Yes, well, I'm sure I will learn more of the words of an American. How it sounds. It is very different. I've taken courses with David Lorraine in Calgary, Alberta. That's the main guy that whenever I don't know if you know Fargo, that show had filmed in my city that I was at for a while. And the accent, the dialect, it's a whole thing. People can tell yeah, where we're from.
Well, certainly, depending on where you go. Most definitely.
Yeah. I just feel so thankful to be on your show and share this story. You guys are one of the only people that I've really extensively shared this with. So who knows? Maybe we can include this in some of the documentary I make.
Well, no problem. Hey, Chris, send her a bill.
Yeah.
No, it's fascinating. I've always wondered I was not adopted. I think they just found me at Walmart. But I've just wondered about that, what that's like to realize that these were not my birth parents. It's something that I can't really comprehend. I know my birth parents. I grew up with them. We have memories together and everything. And then I've tried to comprehend that. That's why I'm interested in your story. I want to.
Everybody says that though, hey, where they joke, I'm adopted because I'm different than everybody, and that feeling of not belonging has been with me for a long time, even though my family did a great job of making me feel loved and including me and all this stuff, blah, blah, blah. But there is a mentality aspect that's more spiritual and energy focused, that your purpose and the feeling of being grounded and internally happy was a huge issue for me to accomplish without having them. And it's not to say anybody's bad or good, it's just what it is, family and blood and feeling like you belong on this earth. Was kind of a thing for me, actually. I felt always bad about myself, to be honest. It was always a topic of conversation, being different looking and foreign looking. It followed me for a long time and still does. And there's a lot of racism that I've been faced with and mean comments.
Well, you don't look different to me. To me, you look like my relatives. I mean, I'm not from Romania. But you look like a European, and my relatives are European. To me, you don't look any different than anybody else.
Thank you.
Julie, It's been a pleasure having you here today. My timer just went off, and my head is exploding.